Killa Bee, Taylor Starling-Vespe.
Hello, Micah. How are you?
Super excited to talk to you. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm trying to definitely recover from the extreme jet lag of flying home from Dubai, so that's pretty rough. And we got home the day before yesterday, so it's like Santa's coming and we have Christmas in 20 24 hours basically. So I'm trying to get my wits about me and get it together and be ready for Christmas.
Have you started wrapping presents? Have you started baking goods yet?
I was actually in the middle of starting baking, um, and kind of stopped that so I can do this, but we are starting the process. My husband's Italian, so he's making like sauce from scratch, meatballs, and all of this stuff to feed people tomorrow and Christmas Day. So we are doing a lot of shit in a very short amount of time, and we're both extremely tired and jet lagged.
So you decided to fly around the world, but before you planned to host Christmas.
Yes, yes. It's kind of like drop in if you want to come get a plate kind of thing. But we're excited. We kind of made it our little tradition to like cook this crazy meal, whether people come over or not. And yeah, we're excited. We've been looking forward to this, especially like cutting weight and going through all of that hell in Dubai. We are happy to have Christmas and eat bad, and I just want to be fat. I'm trying to put on as much weight as possible and just enjoy the holidays.
Well, you've been busy. Before we even get to boxing, Dubai, Misfit Boxing, I believe there's Ink Magazine, there's Bare Knuckle Show correspondent. I've seen you live now. Now you're a budding media member. Also, there's a lot going on.
Oh my gosh, I have to pinch myself. I tell everybody that every single time I have this conversation. I have to pinch myself. It's so hard to believe that I am in the position I'm in. Inked magazine was one of those things that was a dream come true, something I could have never imagined happening. And the process was so long. Like you would think they would. In my mind, I was like, they're gonna ask me for photos. I'm gonna be in the next issue, and it was like a good like 6 month process before they actually like dropped the issue, which is out now, so everybody needs to go get it. It's amazing. Um, but it was such a long process. So I was like waiting and waiting and waiting. I was like, I can't wait for this to come out. And yeah, what a pinch me moment. And being a broadcaster is fun. It doesn't give me the same excitement as fighting does, but it's really cool. I like to think maybe you interviewing me as a teenager and starting that process of learning how to talk to a camera definitely helped me out so much, so much.
Oh, I get to take a little credit. Nice.
I like when I think of you, I think first interview, my first interview ever, and it was terrible on my end. And yeah, a lot of people don't know what goes into learning how to talk on camera and doing interviews. And then when you're in the position I'm in, speaking to people and putting a microphone in their face, like there's a lot that goes into it. And thankfully that was my start, and here I am, and I'm getting better at it.
From the first time we did an interview to now, just the growth. Did you really think with everything that you've been through that fighting would be something that was this consistent in your life these years later?
It's crazy because this to me was something that I believed in wholeheartedly with every fiber of my being. And I was like, I'm going to make it. Like when you were interviewing me in Fit NHB in the old location, and like you could not tell me that I wasn't the best fighter in the entire world and that I wasn't going to be a famous fighter. Like I really genuinely believed that, and that never wavered. I was like, I'm gonna prove so many people wrong. I'm gonna do this. It's gonna happen. So at the time, I believed it, but now I almost don't believe it now versus then. Like then, I was like, I know I'm gonna do this, and now it's like, holy shit, I can't believe that I did everything I said I was gonna do.
You've also just carved out this niche with bare knuckle, starting with boxing and going to MMA, and now that's all ultimately led you back to boxing and bare knuckle. But were you surprised that this is the sport that connected with you the most?
I'm surprised more so that I blew up in that. I kind of was trying to find my way. It was like MMA, I was like, I love to fight. Boxing, I love to fight. Kickboxing, I love to fight. But I just kept like feeling like I would see these specialty like fighters, like, for example, like a Stamp Fairtex, who's a great Muay Thai fighter, or, Valentina Shevchenko's killing it in the UFC, Ronda Rousey's killing it in the UFC. And I kept like wondering, like, I just don't feel like I fit. And I was like, I'm a fighter, but I'm not the best at one thing, or one thing I really want to do. And I went all over the places: MMA, glory, boxing, just random grappling tournaments, like doing everything I could to find where I fit in. And um, after the first bare knuckle fight, like I kind of knew leading up into it, I was like, this is something that I really think is made for me. I'm crazy. I'm out of my mind. I like love to fight. Like there's no better way. And then once I went in there, I was like, okay, this is it. This is for me.
You've had this path with Bare Knuckle. It evolves, like we've said, into this media correspondent role. So you've still got to be right there within the fights. What is that like from your perspective? Because you're a fighter, and I'm pretty sure you're getting excited. Do you remember to do the media stuff, to take notes, or is that a little bit challenging? Because we know how fighters get at fights.
It's crazy. I will say this, like when I've been in fight camp and I'm there ringside, it gets your nerves going. Like you definitely, like you're seeing every angle. You're seeing people get stopped. You're seeing TKOs. You're seeing the worst cuts. You're seeing something maybe not going right with the refs, or you maybe see judges ringside that aren't exactly like always paying attention for the most part. Like you see it from every angle, and it kind of like when I'm in camp, it gets me nervous. But also from the same side, you do see all of those aspects. You see what they're looking for. You see how people are reacting ringside, whether you're putting on a boring fight or a good fight. Like you just see so many angles. And I do feel like it kind of gives me an advantage, but also at the same time, it kind of doesn't, because there's more expectation put on me when I step in there. It's like, you know what you're doing. You've been in this for a really long time. You can't fuck up. Um, but yeah, it's funny to be in fight camp and be at a bare knuckle event, because you're just like, oh, like what am I doing? I'm gonna be in there next, and like what is I can see the emotions like through everybody from every angle, so it gets me a little worked up when I'm working media and I have to fight.
You've had your hand raised in a fight. You've gotten Ink magazine done now. You've seen that published, that finished product. You've blown up on the internet, multiple views, gone viral. You've had an incredible performance, you and your son playing music next to each other. Each one of them has been successful. So it's really just rounding to, does success feel different in each one of these genres that you attack, that you're successful in?
This is like I'm very emotional right now, because I've gone through a lot of emotions in the past week. This makes me really emotional because of course we want our hands raised, and I couldn't do any of those things that I'm doing without those moments. But success is, like you brought up me and my son performing, and things like that. It's not about going and winning a fight. It's what I do outside of that: inspiring people, pushing people, motivating people. And then at the end of the day, like my family's so good and so important to me, and my husband's so amazing, and everybody's like, my life is so good, and that's what's successful. I've spent a lot of time chasing belts and chasing number one spots and all of that stuff. And then I kind of look at all these people that are in that position for the most part, and they don't even have what I have at home or in their lives, and they have a belt, but what does that amount to? So success is, the lives that I'm touching and the people that I'm inspiring, and me and my family knowing that we're all good people and we do great things in our day-to-day life. And it took a long time. I've been a shitty person. I've done shitty stuff. I've been at the bottom of the barrel, and to take my life and turn it around and put it the way that it should be going, and be on the right track, and lay my head on my pillow at night and know I'm a good person and that I can help others be good people. That is what success is all about.
What has been the key for finding these extra stones? Because they say some people there's no stone left unturned, and I feel like you're kind of there and you're finding extra stones.
Let me tell you, I am a little bit, of course, we're mentally unstable. We're fighters. I'm mentally unstable now in the sense of like, I don't think I do enough to the point where people have to tell me to sit down and take a rest day. You know, there are losses I've taken that weren't deserved, or, you know, losses that I have deserved, or just there's always something different I can be doing. There's always more I can be doing. And I genuinely believe that. I'm like, okay, I ran 2 miles today. I ran 2 miles a day in this last camp. I got to bump it up to three, or I like have to just up everything I'm doing. I don't ever believe that there is not enough. And every time something comes around, I'm like, what can I do more than I did last time? And it definitely is a blessing and a curse. I love to work hard. Laziness is very inexcusable in my household. And, anything I can do to not be lazy and level up. I think that's the problem. I'm a little like neurotic about it, and I have a problem of working too hard, which most people would say is not a problem, but it definitely can be a problem.
As you're talking about that, I'm just thinking last time that I saw you in person, I was trying to get your attention, but you're running around asking what coach has access to what gym so you can go get a mitt session in while everyone else is doing your warm up. So it seems like even when you're on the road in the media role, you're just out here still looking to get your reps and stick on your routine.
I never stop. Like, I just got back from Dubai, and if it wasn't for Christmas, like Christmas going on and my children, I've been trying to get to the gym and train, and I'm going in the morning, but I'm already like, I gotta be on it. I can't take any days off. And it's I need to sit down. Like, people take weeks off. I can't. I will lose my mind. I do it more for my mental sanity. If I take a day off, I like think that the world's gonna end. So I have to constantly be going. I really like thrive on having a million plates on all fingers and just getting after it.
You started out at Fit NHB, go back over to South Carolina, Carolina area. You're there with Modern Warrior. You've chosen each time, it seems like you found a new home, that it's a place with a strong foundation and culture within their leaders.
Oh yeah. One of the things I've always said that I have to have I'm too much of a personality to be in a very strict, boring gym. uh, Fit was one of those places, so many personalities under one roof, and Modern Warrior is no different. And I've been to so many gyms, and I've gone to gyms where you go in and people don't even talk to each other. And I get that. I understand. I understand. We're here to work. We're here to put our nose down and get shit done and be out the door. But like, I have to go in and I have to make jokes and I have to be funny and silly. And so like I really found like they're my tribe. They're people I can go in there and I can fuck around with and be silly and like have a good time, but then still get shit done. It just makes it better. And like the training environment you're in is so important. And some people like the serious hardcore gym training like that. I got to be somewhere where I can just talk shit while I train the entire time.
We need more women to show up to the BKFC tryouts because I need Taylor in BKFC more often. Segue that into the last time we just saw you fighting. There were gloves on those hands. We're not used to that. Misfit Boxing, how does that opportunity come about?
Oh man, yeah, I had kind of been reaching out to so many different people for opportunities to stay busy. Thankfully, this is like I think the past 2 years have been my busiest with Bare Knuckle. I've really been like back like hammering them out, and which is hard because there's a lot of injury to recover from, time taken off, and it's still like it's awesome that I got the most fights, but it still wasn't enough. 2 fights a year isn't enough, so I was like, I need something to stay active, keep me busy. Um, and, I've seen all the Misfits hype, and I reached out to the CEO personally, Mans, and I was like, hey, whenever you want to have me. And it's been a while. And then finally he reached back out to me and was like, how about this opportunity? Um, I didn't know it was Dubai right away. So in my brain, I was like, we're going to London. We're going to go to the UK and box over there. And they called me and they were like, yeah, in Dubai. And I'm like, in Dubai, what? And I wasn't too keen on the thought of going to Dubai. I'm very much so a homebody. Like London was gonna be pushing it for me, and they said Dubai, and I just said fuck it. We're going to Dubai and we're gonna box and we're gonna put the gloves on. They were 5 2-minute rounds. Like I'm used to that. That's what I do, and yeah, it just kind of worked itself out. And now I have a little bit of a disdain, I will say, and I'm a little disappointed in the way that it went and the way that some things played out. But yeah, we're working on it. We're gonna figure it out. I don't really necessarily enjoy what how the judging went for that, and I'm trying to work on that.
What was the travel like? What was that endeavor enduring? How many hours was it for you
Woo!
guys? For you and your compadres, it looked like you were a group of three to be able to get out there.
It was a 17-hour and 53-minute flight with a stop in Canada. I almost feel like I made it way worse in my head so it wasn't so bad. Um I was like, this is gonna be the worst thing ever. This is gonna be the worst thing ever. And it definitely sucked. Like that was pretty brutal. It was very alarming to wake up and see that your plane is flying over Iraq and you're like over large bodies of water, and like that was kind of like really I couldn't believe it. Like being there, I was like, I don't really like I felt like a dream. I was like, I'm not in Dubai. This is crazy. Um but I stayed awake for 30 hours straight. So we got to Dubai, we flew to Dubai, and I forced myself to stay awake until late at night in Dubai because I was like, if I go to sleep, my schedule is going to be jacked up. And so I forced myself to stay awake for 30 hours straight while I was cutting to 115, and that was insane. But like, what an incredible place! Like, what a very, very special and incredible place to see with my own eyes in person.
It looked like you might have challenged the weight or amount of Dubai chocolate bars you're allowed to bring back.
I took a sauna with me because, like, I always take a personal, like, travel sauna with me wherever I go because I don't want there to ever be some a variable that can be changed by my circumstances. So I took my own sauna, brought my own traveling like plugins for the walls because ours don't work over there. You have to have like a different one. Anyways, we plug my sauna in and it explodes. Like the power just it was too much power for the Dubai to handle, and it blew my sauna out. Thankfully, I didn't even need I was so professional and so on top of it. I didn't even need a sauna. Um, but the sauna was 50 pounds. And so my husband, being like the best person ever in the whole world that he is, took my sauna in his suitcase and only took 3 outfits to Dubai. Like he took like the most minimal you could pack. And I was like, oh yeah, like this sauna's staying here and we're filling up every bit of that 50-pound box with Dubai chocolate bars and candy. And we absolutely did that. So I brought home, I think my grand total was like 20 something Dubai chocolate bars and then a bunch of like snacks.
Oh man, you made me think of it now. I've always wanted to ask Nick if he brings more than one black shirt and one BKFC shirt with him when he travels or not.
All he wears is black. That he said three of everything. He just yelled from the other room, three of everything. But this time he didn't have to take the BKFC shirts, but it's all black, baby. It's all black. He has all black. Like I've never seen him wear anything other than his black shirts, his black pants, and his black shoes and his black socks. He's my Johnny Cash. That's my man in black.
Have we ever got into the love story yet? How you two under this BKFC whirlwind ended up coming together?
I don't think so, but it's a good story. Like, of course, we met through Bare Knuckle, but we were just friends and like passing by, like passing ships for a really, really long time. I'll have to say, like, after I lost to Christine in New Mexico, Nick came up to me in the airport and just human to human said some really, really kind things to me. Like I was distraught, I was destroyed. That was one of the lowest moments in my career. And like I think I cried for a month straight after that. So I was crying in the airport. And Nick came over to me and said some of the most like heartfelt, genuine, real things to me about being a fighter and a human being, and that it's going to be okay. And I was like, wow, like what a good person. And then, as time went on, we were just passing and we had our own things going on in life. And then it just got to a point, time passed, life changed, things were different. And we actually, funny enough, ended up on an elevator alone, and still nothing weird. There was no like, I like you, you like me. Like it was just me and him in an elevator alone. I was going downstairs to grab something. He's going somewhere to go shoot photos. And it was the most normal interaction. And I was like, he likes me. Like in my head, I was like, oh, he likes me. And he was like, I could tell you liked me. And like we both felt the energy, and it was like, okay. And then it just grew, and I was like, hey, why don't you come to South Carolina? And he came to South Carolina and kept coming, and now he's here.
Talked him into moving down to South Carolina, got him out of
From
New
Jersey.
Jersey.
That's like, yeah, polar opposite, complete different worlds. And yeah, we just had to get him he needed some southern woman in his life. And
And of course, with the two of you getting married, the wedding photos had to be epic there from Vegas. Bravo on those.
oh, of course, you think Nick was gonna let us have anything but the best wedding photos? He was like, I am fine. He had his friend George do our photos, and he shoots like UFC people and stuff too. He was like, I know who I want to shoot our photos. That is who is shooting our photos, and there's no compromise. He was like, that's what's happening. So his friend shot our photos, and amazing. They were amazing.
So I'm guessing with all the ups and downs of everything that happened in Dubai, though, getting to share that experience with him, it did brighten it up a bit.
You know what? Like, just people don't realize, like, so when we fight, I mean, I'm sure that people have their own assumptions, like, oh, Nick, he's the photographer, they get to just get the ins and out. Like, no, like when I fight and Nick is working, we are so far opposite from each other, like in what we're doing. We act like, of course, when we're in the room and stuff, we're normal. But when it comes to business and how we conduct ourselves in bare knuckle and with each other, Nick couldn't be more unbiased and more like, just, I love you, but I can't show any kind of favoritism. I can't show anything. I'm here to do my job. So to get to be in a situation where Nick got to be in my corner and yell for me and cheer for me and have my back, like that was awesome. Because let me tell you, there's not one bare knuckle fight that Nick has been able to show any kind of emotion other than in private for what we had going on. So it was really cool. And he was pretty nervous to be in the corner, but he was ready. And like, I remember during the fight, like he's icing my back and talking to me and giving me the best corner advice. And I'm like, wow, like he's doing such a good job. Like I kind of like left what was going on for a moment, was just like, wow, he's so cute and he's doing such a good job. And like it was awesome. And he is that is my rock, my everything, my pride and my joy. And he kills it at everything he does.
The fight happens. We get to the end of the 5 rounds. It's a split decision. From many of the accounts that I've read, what did you feel about the fight? The first couple rounds, I'm reading that you had it going your way early.
Let's get into this. Micah, have you watched the fight yet?
I've seen some highlights. I haven't watched the whole thing yet.
The highlights, what highlights? Because they didn't show any highlights of anything happening.
It took a
But
lot of digging.
you have to watch it. It's free. You need to go watch it. I'm gonna say this. I went to Dubai and I got robbed without a pistol so badly. Um, I was really, really dominating. I want to say rounds 1 through 4. I could see in round 4 maybe how someone could slightly say that she had the fourth round, maybe. I dominated the first round of the fight. The girl didn't hit me one time. Not one punch landed in the first round from her whatsoever. I dominated the fight. I could see in the fifth, like how maybe they could score it that way too, because I kind of just stopped coming forward, but I stayed in the center of the ring. I got popped in my nose, and like a lot of people don't know this, but I've had multiple nose surgeries in the past year. So it's like if I'm fighting and my nose doesn't bleed, then I'm not really fighting. So it's like my nose is going to bleed and break every single fucking time I get hit. That's just what happens. But I kind of was like, I don't really want to like press it because I didn't want my nose to bleed more. I didn't want more to happen to where it could have been swayed in any way. But I've never been so sure that I've won a fight in my entire life. That was the easiest fight I've ever been through. And like literally, I'm can't even stress enough that was the easiest fight I've ever been in my entire life. And I fought Cassie Robin, finished her in 28 seconds. This fight was a cakewalk, and I they in the fight ends. I go to the corner. Nick's ripping off my gloves. My coach is ripping off my other glove. I'm like, I'm about to get a belt put around my waist, and this is fucking awesome. And they're like, you won, you won the fight, you won the fight. And I'm like, holy shit, like this is happening, this is happening. And as soon as I'm standing there and they are like, we go to a split decision, I'm like, okay, a split decision. I don't really know if I agree with that, but okay, I'm gonna take it. And they say my name first, and I'm like, oh no, they're gonna fucking give it to her. They're gonna fucking give it to this girl. And I was like, there's no way. Like, there's no way. And they said, and still, and my soul like left my body. I couldn't, like, I've heard of this happening to people. I've watched people get robbed. I've been in fights where I'm like, oh, maybe the other person like edged me out a little bit, but I don't know. I have to go back and look at it. Never been so sure that I've won a damn fight in my entire life. And I couldn't believe, like, I got out of the ring. We walked to the back. We're like walking to the back. We're in these like tent pod things in the back. And I'm looking at Nick, and he's like, we all couldn't even form words. I was like, what just happened? What just fucking happened? What happened? What is going on? And Nick was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, we all just kept like, we were like, like, this is a lie. This can't be real.
Damn.
It
That's
was,
definitely a tough pill to freaking swallow to get robbed like that.
I've never been so sure. And then I kind of sat back and I was like, okay, maybe I'm just being biased for myself. And I'm like, maybe I felt better than I looked. I don't know. Um, and then my phone starts blowing up, and it's Instagram, and they were posting highlights of people all night. They didn't post any highlights from our fight, just the hand raised and said like so close, close fight or whatever. The comments are insane. It was like thousands and thousands, and my phone's blowing up, and so many people are like, what the fuck? And like Keith Richardson, he's my coach. He's very hard on everybody, and like Keith will be like, "Oh, congrats," or like whatever. He texts me, and the first things he said, he's like, "You just got fucked over so badly in Dubai," and that's coming from someone who would never say anything like that. He's very logical in the sense of like he'd be like, "Yeah, you didn't do enough, Taylor." And then my boxing coach that was here in town too, that wouldn't ever say something. They were all calling me and texting me, "What the fuck is going on there?" So I think I'm going to try to appeal it, and I think that's going to be like the best thing. I've kind of talked to the CEO about it and what my next steps are, cuz it's very jarring. Very, very jarring and very shocking, and it's been extremely hard to process. And I think too, like, as a fighter, when you're losing a fight. You know when you're in a fight and you're like, "Fuck, I'm not doing so hot." And I feel like that fight, I was like, I'm winning. Woo! Yes, yes, I'm doing so awesome. I'm winning. Everything's great. And I almost feel like when you lose a fight, in the fight, like I'm losing, I'm not doing so great. So when you're done after and you lose, it's this dread and this sadness and this heaviness of like, fuck, I didn't do good. This fight I couldn't process emotionally, like that they had just said and still when I know I won, and I was like, I didn't lose. It felt like I won, like physically, mentally, I was like, I won. And I'm sitting back there just like, what? Like how did this happen when I know that I just won. I couldn't be down or sad or upset because I was like, I know I just won that fight. I'm not I'm not crazy. I know I won. What
Guys,
you
easily accessible on Rumble. Second fight on the card. We're gonna
First
go
fight. It's
in
the first one.
first
It's the
fight. I
first one. Yeah.
was looking at the results and you had you guys as the second one.
There was 2 fights before me. Maybe it's like the prelims, but on the main card, it's like the first fight on the main card.
Unfortunate. It puts a sour note on what's been, like we said earlier, a very successful and beautiful 2025 for you. And I don't
Yeah.
want you to lose sight of that.
Yeah, you know what? The truth will set you free, and it's all going to come together, and it's all going to turn around, and I'm just going to remain like the professional, positive woman that I am. Looking back at it this week, I couldn't have done anything more beautifully. The way that my weight cut went, the way that my attitude was when things were not going so hot, and after a 18-hour flight to Dubai, I did everything so wonderfully and with ease, and the people that I had with me were amazing. We got to see some of the coolest shit ever, and I'm a professional through and through, and I'm going to stand by that. My opponent wasn't as professional. She didn't make weight. So how she can win a title belt is beyond me, but she won the title. I carried myself like a professional. I was good to every single person that interacted with me except my opponent. And you know, I'm a good person. And like I said, I go to sleep at night, and that's what's more than a belt, a pink belt with plastic on it and anything. I get to go to bed at night knowing I'm a good person. My kids love me. My kids are happy. My husband's happy, and that is what being a world champion feels like in life. So I just got to try to be positive and keep working, and it'll pay off, and like I said, the truth will be set free, and it'll all be okay.
Happy holidays, Taylor and Nick, and the
Thank
rest
you
of the
so much,
family.
Micah. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. I hope everybody has a happy holiday.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We'll talk to you soon.